In this video, I want to demonstrate how to use a browser called the Yandex Browser. Now, if you just install the browser, and if you're using Ubuntu MATE with a traditional menu, you go to Applications, Internet, and then it's toward the bottom. Now, depending upon the type of Linux program you're using, you may be able to access it different ways. But when you first install it on a Linux system, it will say Yandex Browser, and then it have parentheses and say beta. On my website, I show you how you can take out the beta, which you can edit things within your menu. Now, let me click on the Yandex Browser. And it's very snappy, it's very quick. I don't have it running in the background, and as you can see, it's still loaded very quickly. Now, I have changed the original look from the original installation look, and I'll show you on my website in just a moment. But before I take you to the website to show you how to install it, let's take a look at some of the features that we have within the Yandex browser. I do have the tile set up so that it takes you to 4 different search engines. DuckDuckGo. If I click on the tile, it takes me immediately to DuckDuckGo. Now, the internet's running a little slow today. This is not the browser. This is the internet. There's the DuckDuckGo, which I can use as a typical search engine. The Yandex search engine, before I click on it, let me go to Google. Everyone's familiar with Google. Here with Google, you got you can click this tile here, and you got a lot of Google apps. Yandex is very similar. This kind of looks like the old way that Google used to look. It has the Google logo, where this is the Yandex logo. You have like Google Images, you got Yandex Images, Yandex Video, Yandex Mail, Maps, and then you Translator, and then you have additional features. Now, on this screen right here where your search engine is, you can sign up when you create an account with Yandex. You can get a Yandex email, and it has a little email notifier whether you get an email, and that's my username at the front at yandex.com. Now, I do have it set for the English language. If you're installing it for the first time on a Linux system, it may be by default a Russian, so it could be very difficult to see, but if you follow the instructions on my website, and I'll show you that in a moment, I'll show you how you can switch it over to the English language and customize it so that it fits your needs. So it's a little cumbersome if you're a Linux user setting it up for the first time, but once you set it up, I think you'll enjoy it. Now, you can check your email by clicking the mail link here, so that way you don't have to put a mail add-on at the top. Now, you can customize this very similar to the way you customize your Gmail or Google email. You can click on it, and there's multiple ways that you can display the way it looks on your screen. You can come over here and choose a different background or theme. As you can see, I have the underwater theme, the marine theme. You can change it to like the grass theme, space theme. I'm going to go back with the blue because I think the blue in the background, to me, is a personal preference. I like the way that that looks. Now, but if the first time you install this, anytime that you click a link, if it's got .ru, that's the Russian website, and the text probably will appear in Russian. If you just change it from .ru to .com, everything should adjust to the English language. Now, not only does it come with mail, it also comes with some free storage space. It has 10 gigabytes of free storage space, and then you can purchase additional storage space if you would like more. Now, if you go to disk.yandex.com, this is where you can create your additional folders, upload your files. This is where you create your folders, and it comes with 10 free gigabytes of space. I have 9.99. All I have is a few images and an icon of a trash bin or a trash can. You can control the way that it looks over on the side, and you can even download and install Yandix disk for Linux, just like the way that you do for Google Drive or your other online storages, where you use a folder where you drag things in and it will upload it into Yandex disk. Now, I don't have that set up. I don't have a lot of those online storages set up because the syncing in the background sometimes can slow down your internet service, and here on this particular machine, the internet for this system is kind of slow anyhow. Let me go ahead and close this out. Now, as I said earlier, that I put these tiles here. These tiles were not the first 4 tiles. There were about 8 tiles, I think, when I first installed it. You can hover over them. You can delete a tile by hitting the X. You can lock it in. You can even edit. Like if I had the wrong URL for DuckDuckGo, I could click this. I could fix the URL, or I could add a title to it, where you see the titles in here. And then when I'm finished, or I could choose to replace it with another image here, and when I'm finished, I hit the finish button. I can add additional tiles that you see here. I can customize the way that it looks, and that's what I just went to. Basically, when I hit the gear, it takes you into the customize thing, and that's just another way of going to it. You can change your background gallery. By default, it will pick an animated gallery in the background. If you've got a slow or older system, it may slow down your system, or it may make it appear jumpy, what you can do is to go to the background gallery and choose one of the images that are not animated. You can tell the ones that are animated, they'll have like a little movie indicator icon in the upper right hand corner, and if you hover over it, you'll see it moving, like the ocean, the grass moving in the wind, the traffic, the water moving. And this one's an image that are a still image because there's no little icon. So if you got an older system and you want an image in the background, I recommend you to click on that to replace the image that you have in the background. There's other features that you can customize. You can see here it says alternate daily. You can click that on and it will choose the background and have a different one each time. Or you can say notify me when there are new backgrounds. So when they update the backgrounds and add new ones, they'll send you a little notification on your screen that there's new backgrounds available. Now I do have some add-ons up here. I have Light Shot. It's a screensaver, or not a screensaver, it's a screenshot tool. I have the Ad Guard, ad blocker. I have another pop-up blocker. Sometimes Ad Guard doesn't stop all the pop-ups, so I install Pop-Up Blocker Strict, and I got the Evernote clip, and then I've got the saveform.net. I don't use a lot of add-ons for this particular browser. The least amount of add-ons you have, the faster your system will be, because each time you add an add-on, usually they will go and look for updates when you're logging on, and it will slow your overall system down. This is where it shows when you're downloading it. Click onto it, show you all the things that you've downloaded, and it will allow you to go into your downloads folder. Here you can bookmark things, like if you're on a site, you can go to your bookmarks. From this particular page here, I can look at my bookmarks by clicking here, where it shows bookmarks bar. I can go to here. As you can see here, the only thing I currently have bookmarked is my website. So when I click here, it takes me to my website. I can close out the bookmark tab. I can go to where it says browsers. Now I'm currently in the process of creating a browser section, just like I did with your image viewers, your music players, and other type of sections. Currently the one that I'm focusing on today is the Yandex Browser. So you can click the link here, or you can go through here and click on the Yandex Browser link, and this will show you how you can install it. There's two ways of installing it. There's a way that you can click to take you to the browser yandex.com. The .com indicates that it will be in English. Yandex is originally a Russian browser. It's created by Russian developers. It does use the Blink web browser engine, and it's based on Chromium, but the add-ons are the Opera add-ons. So it's a combination of multiple things that make up the Yandex browser. If you go to Advanced and go down to where it says About Yandex Browser, it will tell you that the Yandex browser is based on Blink, that's the web's engine. It's based on Chromium. It uses the Opera Turbo if you turn that on for people that have extremely slow speed internet, and other sources here. As you can see, it stays updated. That's the current version, 20.7.3.176, and as I said earlier, in Linux this is beta, which means it's still in testing phase, but don't let that throw you off. It's still a great and wonderful browser. Now here's the ways that you can install it, the two ways, and that's the reason why I'm not showing you here, since there's two ways. I'm not going to install it. I already have it installed. I'll show you multiple ways by using the actual Yandex browser here. You can click this particular button and it will take you to the Yandex browser website. You can click on the download button, and you can click whether you're not, in this case I'm using Ubuntu MATE, so I use the deb file. If you're using like Fedora or some other type of Linux that uses the RPM, this is cross-platform, meaning that you can download it for Windows and for Mac. And once you download it, the deb file, I show you how to go to where it's at. As you can see, there is the installation file. You double click it and it will bring up the package installer. Now I'm using GDebi. You could use something else, software to install it, but I'm using GDebi here. So it will come up, you click the install package, it will prompt you for your password, and before you close the package installer, wait until you see same version is already installed, and then you can close out the package installer. The other way of installing it is by using the terminal. This is not just installing a normal repo. Here you actually have to install the key. So this is a little bit more difficult. So if you're a first-time user of Linux or you're a beginner, I recommend this method. It's very similar to installing an executable file on a Windows machine. But this is not complicated. You just simply open up your terminal, copy each of the bolded where it says type the following, you just copy this, paste it into your terminal, press the enter return key, then enter your password, and then you copy everything that you see here. The reason it wraps around, I didn't tab over, is because I don't need the tab here. You need to copy that entirely, put that into your terminal, press the enter key, and that will create the Yandex key. Then you go sudo apt-get add this particular key, then update, and then install the Yandex Browser beta, and that will put it on your system. As you can see, I already showed you how you can access it. Since I'm using Ubuntu MATE with a traditional menu, I go to Applications, Internet, and the first time you see it, it will have beta. So I show you how you use the main menu command to come in here and select it, delete out the beta, click close, and then it will change it to where you see just the Yandex Browser without the beta. Now the first time you run it, you will see this little pop-up screen saying make my default browser. Anytime you're using a browser for the first time, you're probably not going to see to make the default browser, and I do like it having a pop-up. There are other browsers I've used in the past that when I did the installation, unless you go to advanced settings or to see what's happening, they'll hide that, so for when you install it, they change it. So this is upfront about what it's doing. So I would recommend you to uncheck make this my default browser. Now I uncheck send usage statistics to Yandex. I don't know exactly yet what their statistics they're sending. I don't know if it's my IP address or anything, so I uncheck that as well. That's up to your personal preference. When you load it for the first time, as you can see here, it's going to come up with the Russian look because it's going to have the browser.yandex.ru, and that's because it hasn't been changed to the English language yet, even though we installed it from the .com or browser.yandex.com. But it's very simple. All you simply do is you can close out that tab. If you want to say allow cookies, I'll show you later how to go in there and change that in your settings. But if you want to close this tab, or you can click on this link here and change it from RU to .com, so that way you're seeing everything in English. Again, once you click that, it may prompt you once again for do you want to make it your default browser. You can just choose like no thanks right now and choose to don't ask again, so that way you won't see it keep prompting up. And I'll show you in the settings, if you once you learn it, how you can make it your default browser if you choose to make this the default browser on your system. As you can see here, there's an image of the way I currently have mine set up, and I go through and show you some of the features as I showed you with the disk, the mail, and it even has a calendar. I hear some ways that when I was that particular week, I put some things on the calendar, and it sent me an email notification, let me know that there are certain things, like when my dad went to the doctor for his cancer visit, I put that there to make sure I got a notification in my email. Now there are also notes. It has a note taking for Yandex Notes, very similar to Google Docs, that you can. It's a great little note taking app. It's not a replacement for Microsoft Word or any of those features. It's just a great little note-taking app. You can install or you can insert images, bold, underline. It's just a quick note-taking tool. You can organize things on the side. You can hit plus and add new notes, and you can organize them. Very similar to a lot of the way that other note-taking, online note-taking features. Here is the way that you can get extensions. You use the extensions through the Opera. In a few moments I'll go and show you some of the settings and show you how you can add additional add-ons. Here's the way that you look at your settings. You click here and your settings will be here. Now normally when I make a website, the images that I put on the web page are normally the default settings. This particular web page is not. These are the settings that I tweaked and changed, because there's a feature within your settings to where you can reset to the default. So I thought, since there's a reset to the default, I'm not going to change or screen capture the default. So if you would like to set yours up similar to mine, then I have the way that I've tweaked mine at the moment. I may eventually come in there and change it. Now once you go to settings under your generals tab, you're going to see where it says make it the default at the top. You can say yes, do it. I currently don't. I'm still using it. It's still kind of new. I've been using this now for 3 weeks. So I haven't made this my default browser yet, but if you do, you click that gold or yellow button where it says yes, do it, and it will become your default browser. So when you click on links, it will open up your Yandex browser. If you would like to go in there and make additional settings to the user, you can go into settings, or you can delete a user. If you have several users, you can click to add a user. If you've got multiple users using the browser, you can hit add user, create different users. You can add or delete users by using the delete link to remove a user, or you can add additional users to the browser. You can sync up, so if you're using the Yandex on other systems, you can keep them synced together by adjusting your sync settings. Here's the different ways of searching. Like when you're typing, you can say all for suggestions. So if you're typing in something that you typed before, it will pop up so you can press the enter key. If you don't like those features, you can disable those. And I'm not going to read every single thing. I'm just showing you some of the features I have. You can go through and choose a theme. You can even go and customize a theme by choosing different colors. It has a dark theme, a light theme, a transparent theme, and then you can sync your settings to pull. If you've already got a theme, you can pull it in from the other system by clicking on this one. You can adjust the way that your new tabs are displayed when you click on a new tab in this section, and control the way the tabs behave. Here's the smart box, the way that it shows your copying and pasting and things. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to fill in or show everything. Now if you like auto fill in, like if you're filling in online things and it's the same data, you can choose suggest to fill in, and that way it creates saved data, and it should be safe on your system. Again, I can't speak from experience because I haven't used it long, but I do have that to keep from having to type in things redundantly. It does have an ad blocker, so if you don't want to install additional ad blockers, it says block offensive ads. Now that's not like adult ads. This is ads that could damage your system, that might want to damage or change your browser or even your operating system. So it tries to block the offensive ads. I keep that one checked. Plus, as you can see here, the ad guard blocker has already blocked one particular ad on a site that I've been at. It's probably from my website. It's probably blocking ads from Weebly. As you can see here, the mouse gestures, I disable that. Downloads, you can control where you put your downloads when you download it. Here's the translator part. When you first install it, it may show a lot of Russian things. You can come in here and choose so that you're translating, if you're on a Russian website, to where it translates into the default language that you choose. And in a moment I'll show you how you can choose the English as your default language, so you can have the translation on. Now here's where I turn the send the text snippets to Yandex. I uncheck that. You can check that if you'd like it. Here's other things such as how you're searching on pages, and if you're viewing PDFs, whether it opens up an external application or if it allows you to view the PDF within the browser. Here's your Yandex Collections, where you can add exceptions to them, different websites. As you can see here, these are the way that they display your notifications, your font size. If you have a hard time seeing, or if you have a smaller monitor, you may want to increase your font size and even your page zoom. Looking down here, these are just things under the advanced settings. So once you click the advanced settings, these are what you're going to see when you're getting the advanced settings. Now, if you're a Windows user, you might notice in the Windows on your system tray down here toward your clock, it may pop up each time you open up Yandex, and you see a little microphone, and it says that Yandex has access to your microphone. You might want to, if you have a camera on top of your monitor that has a mic, you want to say not allowed. You can come in here and change it for ask permission, but if you choose not allowed and not allowed here for the microphone, that will help the problem, but that will not solve it all. I have a solution at the bottom. But I have disabled my microphone and my camera just for the moment. That way, since I'm using a new browser, eventually if I want to use it for using the camera across the internet or my microphone, I can enable those features here in the settings. And here are some of the other settings that I have. I'm not going to go through and read every single one of them, but this is just the way that I have mine set up. Here you can clear your history. Here is where you click that link to set your language. So if it's currently in Russian, you click that link, and I have it displayed here so that if it's in Russian, by clicking on the navigate and looking at which tabs, you can know which one that's clear your history, language and region settings. You can click that, choose the English language, and that will save it as your default language. Now since I've been using it over the past 3 weeks, it has gotten an update through the software updater. So as you can see here, it updated itself, and that's what it would normally look like in your menu, but I took off the beta because it works great. Now here, if you're using a Windows 10 machine, you'll see that little microphone where it says Yandex is using your microphone. If you go through here and follow these little steps, I tell you what to turn off so that way each time you open your browser, it's not accessing the actual microphone. Now there is a feature called Alice. I don't know if it works within Linux. I have not tried it. I do not, even on a Windows 10 machine, I do not use Cortana. I disable that. I don't like anything that's listening for me to have a keyword to turn on something, like for saying Alice, go look for so-and-so. I don't, or Cortana, go look for so-and-so. I always disable those features, because if you can have something that's sit there and listen to you, I don't know where it's sending data to, or if they're setting and listening, so I always turn those features off. So I show you how you can go and disable Alice. That will also sets and listens for you to say that keyword, and then that way, by disabling all these things, it will not activate your microphone when you are clicking onto the Yandex browser. Now let's take a look at a couple more features of this particular program, and then I will stop this video. If you want to add add-ons, you can go here to click on your add-ons. Here is some certain add-ons that you can turn on or off that's installed by default. Now when I say installed by default, some of these I might have added at the bottom. But if you want additional add-ons, it says there's more than 1,500 extensions that you can add on by clicking the Yandex Browser Extension Catalog. If you click this, it will take you to the Opera, addonsopera.com, and these are compatible with your Yandex browser, so you can search for a particular extension that you might want to add, or that you might use in other browsers such as your Opera browser or your Google Chrome, because a lot of the Google Chrome and Firefox extensions or add-ons are within the browsers of Opera, so you can search for it, then you can install it as you normally would, and it should appear up here where your other add-ons or extensions are at. So I'm not going to go through here and point out all the extensions that you have capabilities of and putting onto the browser. Let me close this out. So if you have any trouble, you can message me below, or you type a comment on YouTube if you found the video on YouTube, or if you want a quicker response, I do have my email address up here. Now don't email me to my Yandex email. I don't use that as my primary email. I may check it often, so if you saw my email while I was going through this video, I just set that up to look at it. So I don't know if I'll ever use it. I may use it on websites where I sign in. If I don't want to use my primary email, I do have an old AOL that I use for signing up for bogus that gets junk mail. So I may not even use the Yandex browser email or the Yandex email. But if you want a quick email, ask a question, email me at that location, which shows my email in the lower left hand corner, and I will respond much faster. Sometimes on my YouTube videos, people put comments and I don't get a notification at all. It's just that sometimes I do, and when I look below and I see someone asked a question. So if you ever get a late delay on a YouTube comment, it's probably because I didn't get a notification from your message. So hopefully, if you're looking for a different browser, that you'll try the Yandex browser, and you may eventually set it as your default browser. Now over the next several weeks, I will be focusing on additional browsers. So if you don't like this browser, eventually stay tuned, and I will continue going over browsers. I will probably save the browsers such as the Google Chrome and the Firefox, since most people are familiar with those, as some of my last browsers to go over. I will probably point out browsers that you probably haven't heard of and just never used. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and have a great day.